Joining me today is Verena Siow. She has just taken over as SAP's APAC President in July 2026. Verena, many thanks for speaking to PTI.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Momita, for having me. And it's my pleasure to speak to you.
Let's start with the India market. India has emerged, of course, as one of your fastest growing markets in Asia Pacific. But I wanted to understand from you on how you view the India market, its growth, its potential. How does India stack up vis-a-vis some of the other big markets? What is the momentum that you see here and the next growth engine for the market?
Yeah. So, Momita, APAC is the fastest growing region for SAP globally. And out of all the market units in the APAC region, India is the fastest growing market unit, not only for the region, but also for a while already, SAP globally. So there is huge potential here. And the way we look at India is holistically. So India, besides having a huge customer base here, being our fastest growing market in terms of revenue, it's also one of our largest ecosystem, many partners here that we're working with, leveraging on AI, for example. And third, it's also a huge talent hub and innovation hub for us. As you may know, our largest labs outside of Germany is in India. So a lot of the innovation around AI, around data is out of the labs here in Bangalore. And we also see the tremendous potential and talent pool here in India. So it's really amazing, not just from a market perspective, but really that 360 view of India as a talent hub, as an innovation hub for SAP, not just in APAC, but also globally.
Right. And what, according to you, would be the next growth engine? What would be the big drivers for you as you look to entrench yourself deeper into the India market, be it from a markets purely business perspective, sale to clients, India as a strategic market for you to get your products from here to other parts of the world, and the talent base? What would be those big drivers and momentum for you from here?
Well, Momita, as you know, that's a lot of focus on AI now. And for us, AI is really the next driver for us. And India customers are so hungry for innovation and leapfrogging across many other markets in APAC and around the world. We have done a recent study on AI, and based on that, and the team can share a little bit more details, there is tremendous opportunity and interest in AI. So that a lot of the Indian customers and organizations see the usage and the ROI. I think we have to remember that what's most important from AI is driving true business outcomes and value. So a lot of Indian customers and also customers globally and in APAC are looking to move from pilot to production for AI, moving beyond just experimenting to execution. So we see that as the next growth lever for India, and with the hunger of the customers, their interest and motivation to leapfrog and use it as a business differentiator and not only as an IT initiative. And also the rich ecosystem we have here, which are already using AI, like Joule for consultants. We have the likes of Wipro, TechM, Infosys, already using our AI technology to leapfrog against others for SAP implementations, and the talent hub here with labs. There's tremendous potential, and we are truly excited about what that will bring moving forward. Now, the other thing to remember as well is the people part, right? So end of the day, we need to be very mindful that it's still a big change. And that is also something that many organizations are sharing us, right? We are so keen to move forward AI, but our team's ready. So you will see in that report, which my team can share shortly, that many organizations feel that not all their employees are ready to leverage on the latest and greatest from AI to move forward. So we are working with many organizations on also the people enablement part for leveraging on AI technology. And we're also doing so ourselves, really focus on enabling our employees on AI skills and being future ready.
Okay, I just wanted to ask, one basic question. Perhaps we should have started with it. What brings you to India, over the next few hours, and the time that you spend here, traveling between cities, different cities of India? You're in Mumbai, you're headed to Delhi. What is big, what is that big focus, for you as you visit the country?
Well,
What you're
Momita,
looking
I've always loved India and visited India many times. So I've been in SAP now for 15 years in my previous role, which was also in a regional capacity. My last visit to India was actually just in June for SAP Now AI tour. And I love interacting with customers, partners, and our teams here to hear from them. And I also get inspired by the creativity, the innovation, and the excitement and motivation that they have. So I'm here, well, to of course talk to you, but also to meet customers, to attend events, and meet partners as well. So India is very much part of my travel agenda, and I'm visiting India at least once a quarter.
Great. India is also a very different market from, say, Southeast Asia. You look at China, you look at Australia, Japan. India
Yes.
is very unique, has its own strengths and challenges. As you take charge of this entire APAC region, what would be your go-to market strategy for India? And how do you think India actually is different from the other markets, and what can other markets learn from India and vice versa?
Yeah. So when I took on the role just in July, I had a vision of how APAC can be even bigger, better, and bolder. And that's my vision on how we bring the SAP Autonomous Enterprise vision to APAC as part of India, and how, as we enable and partner very closely with our customers, our partner ecosystem to become autonomous enterprise, we are actually creating then a network and an autonomous enterprise economy. And I think India is in a great position to showcase that with the scale of India, with the richness and diversity you have here. I hope to make India a showcase of that autonomous enterprise economy that is part of my APAC vision. Like I mentioned before, I'm inspired and motivated by the hunger for innovation, the interest of our customers here, and we have been here, as you know, Momita, for over 3 decades, to innovate with SAP and also with our labs team here to work very closely and to bring that innovation. And also many customers are very keen to be the first to try out any innovations that we are coming up to market too. So lots of potential and looking forward to doing great things in India and to bring that vision of bigger, better, bolder to our customers, to our partners, and to our teams.
You mentioned about innovation coming out of India, and so I wanted to ask you, how do you see India's role evolving from being a market for SAP products to being a market that strategically shapes what SAP does globally with products and strategy?
We are already doing that in some extent. We have many customers who are first customers here. In fact, I just met a customer today says, well, we are very keen to partner with you. Any new AI solution, AI use case you want to trial, we want to be the first one. So that motivation is really important, and we plan to grow that. And I think India, with what is in place, with what the policies in place, is very well positioned to be the first mover in the AI race. And that's my hope and ambition for India.
Okay. Before I let you go, I wanted to ask you on generative and agentic AI. It has made it possible for us to build applications much faster. And that also raises a question on whether traditional, conventional platforms will indeed remain as important and significant as they were in the world before AI. What does an enterprise, why does it why does an enterprise or a business still need SAP in an AI first world? Because with AI, everyone thinks that they are coders, they're engineers. It is a magic genie that's going to solve all problems. Why do we still need SAP in this era?
Yeah, Momita, that's a good question, and it's a question that of course, we have customers asking us. So I think there are a few things to think about. Firstly, when we talk about building an application, which is very easy to do, right? You and I could do it today with what we have with Gen AI. But to build one that is, to be piloted as a trial and to be deployed to a few users, maybe 5 or 10 users, versus one that has to be used for tens of thousands of users, and to make sure that we also are in accordance to the governance and security in place for these enterprises is very different. So many of our customers have also told us that at the experiment, SAP is still very relevant because with the scale that they operate, also with a partner, a technology partner they can trust to help them scale the business, SAP is here to stay. A lot of the business critical data is already within SAP, and for AI to really bring value to our customers, to the enterprises, there are a few parts. We need to think about data integrity. This is very, very important. And that's something that, as we know, with some of these, tools that we can develop through AI, that is not always the case. And also processes are important as place. And a lot of enterprises for more than 5 decades are also dependent on SAP to run their processes already, right? So that's one part. When you talk about scaling, that's when you still need enterprise scale. Secondly, we are not sitting still. SAP is also reinventing ourselves to become an AI company, AI-led company. And we are also using AI across all ways to enable our employees. We use it in our development, and we come with the AI first mindset to our customers. So I think the combination of having and the AI, the enterprise scale to meet the security and governance requirements of companies, and trust as well, the trust and responsibility, and SAP also reinventing ourselves to become an AI first company. That's where SAP and enterprise applications are still very relevant. And we look forward to partnering with many enterprises, including those in India, for a long time to come.
Uh, this whole thing of AI building the momentum for us, making lives easier, making it easier for businesses to reach their outcomes, has raised a larger question on what it does to jobs. And I know this question keeps coming up again and again. I know time will only tell what it ultimately does to the society. But just to get a perspective from you, because you speak to so many businesses across geographies, what is the sense that you get in what AI will do to the society as we know it, to the jobs? People say that the old jobs will go away. We have seen it in the banking era with ATMs, and there's so many examples of how the world actually moved forward and progressed when it let go of some of the conventional tools. In this case, however, it's a bit different because things are happening overnight. I mean, it's a pace that we've never seen before. There is, of course, also a question of artificial, super intelligence, and what does it do to humanity, the race as a whole. But just to keep the focus on jobs, lives, and livelihoods, where do you see AI impacting jobs, the society, and how do you see it from the lens of regulations? There is, of course, this whole thing of policy and regulations not being able to keep pace with the speed of technology. It's happened in the past, but it's even more pronounced now. How do you see jobs, one, and how do you see regulations in AI era?
Yeah, so that's a really good question, and one that we get asked a lot, and we also debate a lot internally. So definitely, there's a concern that will certain jobs still be relevant, and I think, like any innovation wave, although I do agree with you that this is moving at a faster pace than we've ever seen before. while there will be some jobs that will be less relevant, there will also be tremendous opportunities for new jobs coming up that we may not even imagine today. And we can see that surfacing. So I think there's also a lot of potential in the AI era, that there'll be a lot of new jobs that we may not even know today, right? So when I think about my kids in the, you know, when as they grow up, what kind of jobs they have could be completely different from what we know today. So I think there's a lot of opportunity, and what is important is that we continuously have a growth mindset, right? We need to be able to learn and unlearn quickly at a faster pace than before, to not just keep up to pace with what's happening, but to also ideally be on top of it and be ahead of it. So I think there's tremendous opportunity. AI can also be a great equalizer, right? That it really, you know, opens new doors, break through new boundaries for many of us. And I think that is tremendously exciting. So now so that's the first question that you raised. The second one, in terms of policy, I think a lot of governments are very concerned about it. While also those who are a bit more progressive are acknowledging it and seeing the tremendous potential that it can bring to its society, to its the way that businesses run, to the way that the governments are run as well. And that's something that whether we like it or not, we need to keep pace with, and we need to stay ahead of the curve. So I think there's a lot more we can do, and that's also even more important for governments to work very closely with enterprises, so that whole public-private collaboration ecosystem is more important than ever in the AI era. And that's why I talk about how we can partner with enterprises, and also with the ecosystem, like governments, with institutions, to build autonomous enterprise economy, right? And how we can leverage on AI for everyone to become more connected and partner more closely. So I think that there is, of course, a few threats, but there is even greater opportunity. And it's about how, end of day, we have the open mindset, we have a growth mindset, and it's about change management too. And I mean, we have to keep people in the center of it, because end of the day, decisions are made by people and not by agents. There was also an interesting conversation about how we need to treat agents, right? That we also need to be managing agents in the workplace moving forward, like people. So I think interesting times, but one that is also brings tremendous opportunity to all of us.